your keys to motivated learning, finding solutions and adapting to your environment and your needs. I was not as lucky as you graduates here to formally study anatomy. I have picked it up along the way. My journey to understand the contemporary flesh has not only taken me inside art galleries and museums, it's taken me inside plastic surgery clinics, pathology lectures, convincing the doorman at the Royal College of Surgeons to let me have a look at bodies being dissected, to brothels in Belgrade and Tokyo, to transvestites in a wig shop in Rome, to study the meat in a slaughterhouse and the labour ward of a hospital in Oxford, to witness the birth of my daughter as she moved from my flesh to her own. All of this was in the pursuit of trying to paint and understand the contemporary body. If you keep your windows open, images will flood in, like Fra Angelico's windows of contemplation for the fried cells in Florence. What's thrilling about being an artist is you can wander like a child in a grand room of objects, turning them inside out and exploring them. As an artist, you take in the world and you spit it out anew. It's like the Egyptian creation myth, where the sun god Atum spat out his son and vomited his daughter, and creation begins. It was Albert Einstein who said, "There are two ways to live your life. You can live as if nothing is a miracle, or you can live as if everything is a miracle." With Albert Einstein's words in mind, how do we consider culture? To you and I, it's probably a collection of artifacts and paintings, music and literature, but to a biologist, it's a collection of microorganisms and bacteria. Whatever it is not static. Languages, laws, beliefs and customs are constantly mutating and migrating, more now so than in any time in human history. I was reading an article written by the head teacher of my children's school who said, "It is estimated that a week's worth of the Times newspaper, the English Times, it contains more information than an educated person was likely to come across in their whole lifetime in the 18th century. It is estimated that more unique new information will be generated worldwide this year than in the whole of the last 5,000 years, and that amount of new technical information is doubling every 2 years." I felt a mixture of paralysis and excitement when I read it. Less than 10 years ago, I used to prowl, almost trespass around obscure medical bookshops and libraries looking for visual triggers I could use in my work. It took a lot of commitment, was expensive, and took time away from my painting. Now, with very little effort, I have these images instantly delivered to the palm of my hand, thanks to the imagination of Steve Jobs at Apple, with some manipulation of my forefinger and my thumbs. My children ask me a question about a certain tree as we walk in the park, and I have an encyclopedia in the palm of my hand. When my children were born, a Brazilian nanny helped me care for them. Her boyfriend worked in a bank in São Paulo in Brazil, and most days he sat at his desk on his computer with a tiny camera facing his head. On my kitchen work surface, over 5,500 miles away from São Paulo, sat my nanny's computer screen, where this young man sat smiling and waving. My 1-year-old son knew his face well and would be excited to see him, giggling and waving back as we did. Neither my son nor I had ever physically met him, but he was part of our everyday life, and we interacted with his image on the screen as though he was sitting next to us. He was our virtual lodger. I strongly felt the distinction between those two realities, as I'm an internet immigrant, but my son, as your children will all be too, are internet natives. Our realities of time and space, of fact and fiction, are rapidly shifting, and so what does that mean for painting? My arm and wrist doesn't move any faster than Leonardo's did. But the courier that delivers my letters to collectors is virtual and instant, not in person or on horseback. Does this mean the end of painting as a serious mode of communication? That as painters we are the last blacksmiths or hardware store still operating in a town that buys everything on eBay? Of course not. As humans we eat, defecate and delight in the detritus of our lives as we have for centuries. But painting must interact, respond and excite to these technological changes. Without the arrival of photography, maybe we would never have had the same Picasso. He and Braque responded to this technology and found a language to articulate our human natures in paint. Their imaginations helped us understand the structures of nature and the subconscious. In the 1950s, de Kooning, in this very city, raised the bar of what painting could do. At the same time that Hollywood was delivering celluloid narratives to the parking lots of modern America, and commercial airlines and automobiles were moving humans around this planet faster than they could ever have dreamt of 50 years previously. and de Kooning and Picasso were both trained in academies, just like this one. An academy is a place where you exchange knowledge and learn, and most of it you will store away until you need it. Knowledge accumulates on a need-to-know basis through practical inquiry and curiosity. But if you want to know something, seek it out. Follow your instinct, it is your compass and your guidance system. Never waste your time. An art academy, any place of learning, should not be a place where you worship the past, but to question it, to learn from it, steal from it, be irreverent towards it. Do not fall in the trap of polishing the veneer of art history, as this will not make you into an artist like Velasco, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, Titian, Rembrandt, Gentileschi, Caravaggio, Manet, Picasso, or even the modern artists, the artists we live with today, like Cecily Brown, Lucian Freud, Anson Kiefer. Most of these artists worked with the human figure as their central subject, but they made art of their time with distinctive and individual voices. What is it that makes artists' work have a sense of the universal, that also transcends the time it was made and the relevance lives on in either the actual work or in the influence it has on others' work? You only have to look at the new Frank Gehry skyscraper here in New York to see the influence of Michelangelo's studies of folds and drapery. Work comes out of work. Like a good athlete, you have to stay nimble and fit. If you have a responsibility of art as artists, it is to continue working, and to work with passion and self-belief, as you are one of the lucky ones. You live in a time and a culture that affords all of you, both male and female, the relative freedom to express yourselves, to fly with your imaginations and be taken seriously. Not every woman or man on this planet has that opportunity, and you should never take it for granted. Civilizations eventually retreat and others rise and dominate. Grasp what this evolution has given you, as it was hard won and has taken centuries to develop. Civilization is human knowledge in process. It ebbs and flows, mutates, hybridizes, changes colour and geography. From the caves of Glasgow to Babylonian mathematics, to the utterances on the pyramid texts, to Pythagoras listening to musical harmonies at the edge of Greece and Asia Minor, to the libraries of Alexandria, to Wikipedia, to the lost city of Machu Picchu, to Michelangelo's St. Peter's Dome in Rome and his Pieta within it, to Velasco's Pope, Picasso's Demoiselle d'Avignon, and Richard Serra's Talk to Lipses. Human beings have been driven to develop their skills, to relish in the magnificence of what we can make with our hands and with our brains. And when we've made it, we want to develop it, to improve it, to lurch into the unknown and to bring it into being. And so, given these 2 million years of study and preparation, what will you make? You are this generation's makers and markers. Graduates of 2011, I wish you luck, long and very vivid lives. Thanks.